I want to make sure that this corporation is going to comply with the 24-hour variance that we're giving them. So those are the three things.
Okay, board members, do we all have the, is everybody, before we go into discussion? Okay, on page 3, the correction on number R, on the bottom where it says,
not a correction, because that's their document. We can't correct their document. We're just going to say that
we are not correcting it, but I mean, it says that we are letting them know that this needs to be corrected before we give them a letter that they want. The approval letter. See how it says 7-Eleven will not sell single or 3 packs of beer or 1 cooler? It should have said 4.
Well, we suggest, our discussion was
We
always
voted
on
was
4.
4. And then also on page 5, on the top, the CC, where it says the listing of the schools, public places, to add East Lake Youth Center on there.
Are you making that as a motion, Frank, or?
Yes.
Okay, it was maybe.
How many parts to the motion? Oh,
I guess there's 3 parts.
I got the East Lake and the no less than 4.
Fast, one minute.
And what was the third?
The 24-hour removal of the
Oh, yeah,
graffiti.
24-hour removal.
Go, Mr. Jose.
Okay. I have a question, Frank. I would like to add a friendly amendment concerning the petition language. Could you have that included in your motion as a friendly amendment?
What petition?
The petition that 7-Eleven circulated, the language of that petition, could that be included?
What do you mean
The
by
approval, you mean,
that
the petition that they did?
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
What, we don't understand.
Okay, 7-Eleven circulated a petition,
Yes,
correct?
they did.
Okay. The language of the petition, could that be included in this motion?
Why would it be included in this
We
motion?
have no.
It's a request.
Say about the petition.
Well, I don't see how it's relevant to my motion.
That doesn't-
Well, it's relevant because I would like to know if the petition adequately described the liquor license or the certain issues that are listed here
I have
in the
nothing to do with
petition.
petition.
No.
How can you add it to my motion?
No, that was already presented to the board, and we've already all.
We accepted that
signed
petition?
The petition, yes. They did bring the petition to the meeting, and we did, everybody on the board that was here did see the petition, and all the people that signed it, and we
Well,
read what the petition said. We have nothing to do with that, the petition. We found nothing wrong with it.
Yes, their petition.
Okay, one more, and then we gotta go to.
I see a copy of it.
Aranda.
Yeah, I've been in part waiting for the speaker, the representative from Mr. Irlanda from San Diego to speak, so I could kind of piggyback and ask some questions. But based on right now what I heard through the grapevine, some individuals mentioned that we're barely receiving this right now. So it's like getting a meeting minutes, which a few minutes beforehand, it's overwhelming to kind of look through everything and make sure that all the corrections are right. We're taking our budget, I guess this falls under the budget. That's why, well, what do you have? It's under
No, this was basically,
It's planning.
this is through
under planning. We couldn't attend the planning because there was a conflict with outreach 2 weeks ago, so I'm asking, I guess indirectly once again, it sounds like I'm the person who always says it, but if we could before we motion on the table, we could allow a speaker to talk. Secondly, because I also want to see if there's also some amendments. I know there's this nasty rumor that's been I represent constituents there in Area 5, and they're very, very adamant about alcohol license. I represent Sacred Heart Church, so I make it straight out. So they've been coming up to me and they want to dispel this nasty rumor, whether it's still correct or not. And according to this, it does says active license, but they still are seeking a nuisance license and are not applying for a new license. They want to clear that
Yeah.
point up. So, and also the writing here says purchasing an active license, but I want to see that word nuisance included under E. Number E, I just want to. Page number 2. Under E, the 4th line.
E?
Yes. Which is halfway through the
Good.
document.
I'll second that one. That's good.
Actually, motion, before we motion, let's see the speaker.
Oh, is it a rumor or is it the truth?
It is a rumor, I can
Okay, just want to make sure.
demystify that. We are actually in escrow for a nuisance license, and there was a self-imposed restriction from the very beginning. We worked with the time staff, Councilman Reyes, and they haven't changed, it's a
Okay.
big rumor.
And that nuisance license within Hollenbeck?
Yes, it is. And we can't disclose details because it is an escrow. There's illegalities involved.
Mr. Arana, why don't you go ahead and stand up and,
Absolutely.
so that they can ask you questions and you can go ahead and answer.
Yes. There was an additional question?
No, well, his question, if you could answer it, and I guess you're here, you just clarify it again.
First and foremost, I want to thank you for unanimous support of 7-Eleven franchisee at East Lake and Broadway. I know we've been here over 5 or 6 times, I've lost count. Again, thank you for supporting small business. There are a number of rumors, and I think more than anything, I'd like to speak to that. I take transparency and accountability very seriously. I think those are the 2 pillars really pivotal to charter reform and the creation of neighbor councils. That's why I was really surprised by, after the vote came down, you all voted for our CUP. I've attempted, not only have I attempted, my client would be here, we were properly notified. We were not notified we were on the agenda. We were not notified we were actually on the land use committee agenda. And our primary point of contact has always been Mr. Wada. Mr. Wada hasn't returned any communication for over 3 weeks. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention as a body, because I take your advisory body role very seriously, and I think more than anything, I believe in transparency and everything we do as my client, 7-Eleven, or as our firm, Urban Associates, that's really dear to our heart.
Or is it active versus?
I heard that you guys were after a nuisance license, but didn't you guys apply for a new license on October 12th?
That is incorrect. We are not applying for a new license now. Do you have any documentation ascertaining that, sir? Yeah. Seems like there's a strong rumor beyond this committee.
There is, yes. I'm sorry,
Just a moment,
your full name, sorry.
Enrique Aranda.
Okay.
Any more board members? No? Okay, Lupe, go ahead.
I was just curious that you say you're still in escrow, you're not allowed to talk about it, but
Yeah.
an escrow for the one that needs a car?
No, and that's go for the East Lake Broadway store.
Oh, okay, but how about the one that needs a car? I'm kind of curious about that.
We have not moved forward with that store yet.
But does the committee know about that one?
Yes, absolutely, and Mr. Wada is very active and has a lot of good time, and we can provide you more details after that store. And we, actually, the agreement with this body was to go store by store. We are, 7-Eleven, again, my client is in the process of opening 300 stores all over California. So it's difficult to speak to all the locations we're looking at.
Okay, well, the stakeholder asked me, because there's a liquor store right across the street from us, it's like a mom and pop.
Right.
And that little liquor store happens to help the community a lot, and maybe somebody travels away, and then my car washes there. And I thought that maybe you might take away from that little store. I mean, I'm speaking on behalf of the state.
Yeah, 7-Eleven is looking at Mission and Saga as a possible site. And again, I wouldn't know exactly where the process is. I know there has been canvassing that's been going on.
I just heard you say you want something to
No, but East Lake Broadway, just for the record. I wouldn't want anyone to leave here thinking that any of this information is not fact. I'm here today for East Lake and Broadway. In our conditional use permit, which was submitted, and we are looking at December 22nd hearing with the zoning administrator.
So you mentioned something.
Thank you, sir.
About this escrow that's going on at the other, I mean, not the escrow, but the process of maybe buying the 7-Eleven at Pacific Park?
We are looking at Mission and Saga as a possible site. We are, again, as we mentioned in the last meeting, we have not identified a franchisee, and we have not moved forward with that process yet.
You did mention you knew something.
Well, he's very informed, so know if there's any progress or any development, and we're not here, I'm sure Mr. Water will inform me.
You're in the planning, right, Frank? But have you let the community know about this?
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you, and you were, all the community members were here when they were presented with the original 7-Eleven. I brought out the fact that 7-Eleven was also possibly opening up a third store, so that was, that's it, that was the point.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Personally, I feel we're beating a dead horse here. We have been through this discussion many, many times. And I personally think that the vote that we took last time should stand. And if we keep diddling around with this, we'll never be done.
Well, I'm just clarifying, you weren't at the meeting. I was following what the instructions of the committee was to make sure that this document, which I just showed you, this pile of 10, was what we wanted to represent our board's recommendation in terms of the conditions. So I went through and combed it, and that's what I found was the emission problem with the East Lake. The other problem that this indicates 3, as you can see on page 3 on the bottom, we were always talking 4.
On page 5.
And then I'm just adding on the, because of the budget cuts, I want to make sure that 7-Eleven continues with their process with 24-hour removal from their building of any graffiti. And I think they'll comply with that one, because that's under the 24-hour variance, and they really don't want to lose that.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, thank you, sir.
thank you.
Go ahead
So
and-
finally, ma'am, I'll keep it,
Go ahead.
finally, ma'am, I'll keep it brief to see, so we can move on,
Call
obviously.
for the question, Mr.
No, besides that, I don't know, I'm asking everyone's advice to see, is it possible, obviously they can't amend that. In addition to adding the 3 amendments, but they could somehow, we approve this with the
We're not
condition.
approving that document.
I understand that, but somehow, that's why I'm asking for advice, Frank. If they could add the wording, purchasing and nuisance, an active nuisance
So
license,
that'll be 4.
to maintain the number of licenses within the census tract and/or community of, be specific community, because they could obviously take the word community out of context. Then community could be the northeast area. And I want to be more specific, community of Lincoln Heights 90031. Can't wait.
Does that need a second? That motion, I'll
Frank.
second it.
I don't know why
Make it
people are
into a
mad,
motion.
because I have every right to say this, so I think finding disrespectful that people are looking at me in a mad way.
I'll second that motion, if it's possible, you make it into a
Go,
motion.
Frank.
Like everybody's saying, we're repeating, I think that was one of our conditions in our original motion, was that they were not going to increase their number of business licenses within this census tract. If you remember the,
Census tract.
right, that's how they regulate this by ABC. One of the conditions that we had was that there'd be no increase in, that's exactly what you're saying. We can reinstate it and put it in again, but you're
But the wording's not clear.
we've already moved on that part of the motion, so.
See, we already,
But they failed to word it right.
okay.
So I'm gonna point
Okay,
that
if you
out.
want to word it, I'll take it as a friendly amendment, and we'll just make it number 4.
Yeah, okay, okay, listen, everybody, listen, okay. The only thing that we are doing tonight is this. Number 1, we had agreed to allow 7-Eleven to get the liquor license with some conditions, okay? One of the conditions was that they do not sell individual 1 can of beer or 1 bottle of beer or 1 bottle of wine. That they sell them in the 6-pack, or let's say the wine coolers, I think come in 4 packs, okay? I see, okay. Now, we gave these conditions to them. They agreed that they would not sell single bottles or single cans of beer, that they would sell them in the 6-pack of beer or the 4-pack of wine coolers, let's say, okay? Now, the only thing that Frank is bringing up is that 7-Eleven, after they rewrote all their conditions, they gave them to him and to me to look over. This is what we found, that they have here. 7-Eleven will not sell single, or it says 3-pack instead of 4-pack. That's all we're doing, is changing the 3 to the 4 as originally agreed upon. Also, on the list of the, on page 5, all we are doing is that we found out that here, that they did not put the East Lake Youth Center. That is all we're doing.
There's a friendly amendment on the floor.
Okay? So that is all that we are doing today, is Frank is bringing it to our attention. That yes, that did okay.
But there's a friendly amendment
conditions.
there's a friendly amendment to those 2 items listed.
So,
That also has to be incorporated, and it was accepted by Frank.
Okay, there's one thing that I think needs to be clarified. We're talking 2 different languages. Frank is talking the census, whatever that is, and it involves more than LE 31. Paul is talking LE 31 only as where they can get that license.
Is that what you're talking about?
Am I correct in that?
I want to be specific, because technically, honestly, what you said right now is exactly what I'm doing. The reason I'm bringing it up is because I feel that 7-Eleven has failed to do so in this document. I'm not doing this to make attention. I'm not doing this
Well,
create I'm sorry. to create a ruckus, a scene. I just simply, I saw it, and I'm gonna speak out, because I have every constitutional right in accordance to charter reform, which obviously oversees neighborhood council. I was elected to do so.